Starting June 1st, it will begin a new installment of the Hebrew and Bible Academy. The full 12 weeks will be concentrating on the beginning and fall of Babylon, history, the understanding of the religious aspect of Babylon, as well as what? The theme from Babylon, Rome to America. In the Academy, this is what you can look forward to. New lessons, the secret war of Edom against Israelites. But one thing we've never delved into was bringing forth the history, showing all the contentions and war Edom had waged against Israelites even until our present time. The desolation of abomination, how to calculate time according to God, and I can't wait for this lesson, Armageddon. The final war in heaven. If you've never been in the Academy, you want to be in this one. June 1st, we're in open enrollment right now. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Come on in. Come on in, brothers and sisters. Come on in. Come on in. Hit the like button. We're about to go into Patreon, but I have to give y'all this quick update. Come on in. I know you all have been chopping at the bit since last night. When the reports came out that Iran was struck by Israel, right? Come on in. Come on in, brothers and sisters. Let me adjust this camera. Let me adjust this camera, and we can jump right in. That's good enough. Blessings, brothers and sisters. I'm Elder Rawchaa of the Gathering of Christ Church, here with the weekly Patreon update. And of course, we're going to go more in depth tomorrow in a full class. Tomorrow, Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen is the title for our Sabbath tomorrow. Okay. We will begin that class, listen to me clearly, 11 a.m. sharp, which means Elder Lawya will be right next to me, 11 a.m. Okay. Subsequent to that, Elder Lawya and I are going to have a quick discussion. I have to do something after the class. All right. And this is why I have to come in early, 11 a.m. So make sure you are sharp here, 11 a.m. Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen is the title for the lesson tomorrow. Okay. I also have announced an emergency meeting with all the elders and leaders of our church for Monday as a result of what's going on in the Middle East now. And the reason why I have to make this announcement, because I know based on what this church has been teaching, I mean, since the inception of YouTube, that there's a countdown that the war we must really focus on outside of the false evangelical rhetoric they've been putting out there prophetically. They were talking about Russia. And I told people from the beginning, that doesn't bear out in prophecy. It's the Medes. It's Iran. Iran is the prophecy that leads to the war of all wars. The evangelicals were lying because they were what? Zionist bought and paid shields posing as pastors teaching a Jesuit doctrine to throw everyone off. They've been telling us Russia for years. Russia is Edom. Okay. So at the very end, it's not speaking of Russia coming against America. You know how many Russians live here in America? Okay. Even when the USSR was broken up. Don't you know Ukraine was a part of Russia, USSR? You know how many Ukrainians are here now invited through our tax money to live amongst United States citizens right now? So if Russia was truly the enemy, they wouldn't have let all these people in here within America. Okay. So that narrative of the Great Third War, America against Russia, has always been what? A diversion through Jesuit false doctrine. I told people years ago, we must keep our eyes on Iran. All you have to do is read the Bible. All you have to do is read the Bible and see what the elite does, right? With their global net and all of that in the earth. They're watching to see who's out there actually reading the Bible. They'll put out false things. Okay? They'll put out false things outright to see if those who truly claim to believe in the Bible is reading the Bible. If you believe the rhetoric they put out on mainstream media and religious television, they know you're not the ones. You're not the ones who have the knowledge and the connection with the Almighty to rival their demonic power. They understand that. But if you read the Bible, you, like we do here, it's easy. It's easy, folks, to pinpoint and expose the Jesuits. So it was never Russia we had to worry about when it comes to prophecy. Talking about the bear of Moscow will rise up against America. That was all Zionist diversion tactics to throw off those who believe in the Bible and or Christ. We told people years ago, it's Iran. Now, let me drop something for y'all real quick. Now, I'm having the meeting so to make sure the elders, deacons, bishops of the church, and the congregation who are baptized in the church, to make sure that they don't look at what happened last night as a what? As a point to push the panic button. Because we do have time. I'm going to talk about that today. Do not push the panic button. And I'm going to tell all the leaders of the church, if anyone under you panics and begin to make moves outside of the direction, let them. Christ is doing a purging. Let them and see what their outcomes will be. Panicking without understanding the full prophecy. Hopefully between today, tomorrow's lesson, and what we're going to teach this coming Sunday, it'll give people a more calm perspective of how to get through Jacob's trouble. Okay? We are not to panic right now. Now, we are not, let me make it clear. Let me take away right now, the word right now. We are not to panic at all. Okay? We are not to panic at all. Okay? Let me put the phone over here in case it rings. Why? Because usually when I'm broadcasting, I put it on silent mode or whatever the case is, or do not disturb. But I have a lot of things going on right now, and people are going to be reaching out to me. So I at least want to make sure, I'm able to connect with people who are reaching out to me right now. I mean, I've been getting inundated with email, phone calls, everything since Iran was struck last night. But let's put it into perspective. For all you, and we'll lean into this before transitioning over to Patreon. Hopefully what I'm going to show you all will put everything in perspective for you. Okay? Let me move this here. And of course, we're going to ramp it up to the next level on Patreon. All right. Let me move here and there. All right. For those who don't know, yeah, we're going over to Patreon in a couple of minutes, but I just want to set up what we're going to be discussing. All right. 1 second. One moment. One moment. Hit the like button. I see you all there. Like I said, so many people are reaching out, and I thank Bishop from Puerto Rico. for sending me some insight that even though I was going into it anyway. I thank him for reaching out last night. 1 second. Let me straighten this out. We're about to jump in, and give me 1 second. We're going to give you all a full understanding of what's going on prophetically with Iran. A full understanding of it. 1 moment. Bear with me. There it is. Hit the like button for those who want to understand what's going on. And Esau speaks in code. All right. The people over there today, over in Israel today, they're the Edomites. Okay. They are the Edomites. What are we witnessing in prophecy? What are we witnessing in prophecy in the Middle East right now? The last tail end of the Roman Empire, bringing in Satan's new world order. That's what we are witnessing right now prophetically. The Romans take over of the world. Right? Let me show y'all something here. Right? Let me show y'all something here real quick. So, you know, as I get it, as the Most High give me utterance or understanding of what I need to show, if it comes to me, I'm bringing it forth. Let me pull this up for you. Let me pull this up. Bear with me. Here's a symbol. This is the one I'm looking for right here. I showed this many a day in the academy. Okay? I need y'all to look at this. What are we viewing here? Bear with me. What are we bearing? What are we witnessing here? SPQR. SPQR. This was the plan led through our modern, this is the plan led through our modern day Illuminati. The secret plan of Rome to control all of the earth. Okay? Stick with me here. It doesn't matter if you all don't believe the Bible right now, but I'll tell you, I'm talking about unbelievers. But if you don't understand the Bible, you have no clue what's going on geopolitically or politically in the earth. You'll think in your mind it's about a bunch of greedy people who's trying to get money at the expense of the world's population. You'll think it's all about money. Folks, let me tell you, the people that control this world, folks, can go throughout this whole earth without spending a dime. Let me make it clear to you. Money isn't an issue to those who are controlling this earth. Money is a way that they have implemented a currency system in place to set up a caste or a class system to control those that are on the bottom. Make it clear, money is nothing to these elites. It's just another form of control over the people who live for money, not realizing there's a greater currency they're keeping us away from, which is the currency that comes from on high through the Holy Spirit. So on the low level, you got people out there thinking these are just greedy people, rich people stomping down on the poor. No, you don't know the real narrative. These people don't care about money like you think. They care more so about the control over the people. And money is just a tool for them to do so. These are the people who can tell you tomorrow that your money is worth nothing, only to give you a different currency tomorrow. That if the earth doesn't comply, you cannot buy or sell. They can switch up money like nothing. They can make it tomorrow and say, well, your dollars is worth absolutely nothing. But we have you in our database holding what have been transferred over from money to electronic currency. So it's there. But now the government can control how you utilize and or spend it. See? Look what happened after the Great Depression. After the Great Depression, there was a run-in on the banks and all that. And they told you, hey, that money you have is worth nothing. People had money stacked up in their mattresses and all that. And it meant absolutely nothing. The government, when they went to the banks, the government gave them cents on the dollar. Okay, so it's not about money for those who think it is. Folks, another thing, it's not about racism. Not in the sense the mainstream is pushing it. It's not about racism. That's another form of divide and conquer. Okay? Pitting one race of people against another race of people has always been a form of control over the population. So one might ask, well, Elder, if it's not about money and it's not about racism, what is it? Right? What is it? Right? So let's get down to the bottom of it because I want to talk to my loyal Patreonies. Let's get down to the bottom of it. Get down to the bottom of it. Right? What are we seeing here? What are we seeing here? SPQR. You have the Caesar's reefs. Right? Every Caesar. Now, these Caesars were high pagan politicians, handpicked to rule over the Edomite kingdoms when Rome came into power. Each one would have an administration to bring in Satan's power. What is his power? There you go, SPQR, where you got Caesar here, and in the midst over the eagle's head is the world they will one day soon have full power over. The abbreviation for SPQR, the Senate and the people of Rome. the Senate and the people of Rome. Now, how many times you've heard politicians stand up and say, well, this is not what the people want. The people want this. Right? And we're sitting here like, hold up now. We're the people. And we totally disagree with what this guy's saying in the Senate. We don't want this. But they'll sit there, stand there during their theater at their hearings and say, this is what the people want. Claiming that they're representing their constituency. Well, folks, when it tells you here, the Senate and the people of Rome, this is their plan when it comes to the Republic. This was their plan the whole time. World domination. Now you're saying, well, I'm a part of the people. I don't want this. Right? Well, the politicians will stomp back at you and say, you absolutely want this. You voted me in. And through the process, I became your representative. So when they stand before their hearings, before Congress and Senate, and say, this is what the people want, they're not talking about us. They're not talking about you. It's the politician and what he desires in representation of the people. It's what he wants. And just say if you have lobbyists such as AIPAC and other lobbyists such as the pharmaceuticals who are willing to bribe the Senate. See? The Senate speaks for the people. The people means absolutely nothing outside of their representation. And the representation has an allegiance under a Roman credo led by Luciferians. So when it says the people is seeking Rome's agenda to control the whole earth. The eagle is represented by who? Edomites or Esau. I'll be going into that week 4 of the academy. But this is what this particular symbol represents. Senatus Polis Romanus, which translates the Senate and the people of Rome. It was used by the Romans to refer to the government of the Roman Republic and continued in use during the Roman Empire. This was their agenda the whole time. And it so happens, brothers and sisters, Rome was able to gain full domination without resistance after destroying the true Christians when they took our home, Jerusalem, and sacked it in 70 AD. That's when Satan's spirit got fully behind the wings of Rome, knowing that what? There was no one there that would have the spiritual wherewithal to oppose Esau, being that Jacob would have to go through trouble, tribulation, slavery until what? Until the lion would one day rise. You understand this, and you're going to understand what happened last night when the so-called Israel struck who? Iran. Israel is a proxy, folks. That's Rome striking Iran. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If you understand prophecy. Revelation 17 tells us about the 10 horns will hate the whore and burn her with fire. Well, the 10 horns are the modern day EU. And it says that the 10 horns would make who? The whore, who's America, naked, and the legislation would allow her to be burned with fire. So now, the 10 horns is Europe as an extension of Rome. And that's right, the 10 horns are the extension of Rome. They're over in Israel right now. And their strike in Iran automatically, even if America tried to deny that they had anything to do with that strike, even though America is going to say Netanyahu went rogue. That's what they're going to put out there politically. They know that if Iran retaliate with all their fire and power, that America is going to have to assist in the war, even if they don't want to. And that's what the 10 horns are banking on. The whole world blaming that strike eventually on America, and that will lead to World War III. So that now Rome can take out its patsy. It can take out the fall guy to gain the power it has always had behind the scenes. Folks, that's what's going on right now. And above all, they want America to be the fall guy because of the rising lion. It's through the tribe of Judah here in America that the whole world found out who are the true Israelites according to bloodline. The rising lion is why they struck Iran. We are the rising lion. And see, these Romans speaks in code. Look at what they're calling this operation against Iran. Look at what they're calling this. Fair use, a public announcement, Esau, modern Israel, and that's what we're going to call them going forward. Modern Israel today is Esau. That's who they are. And we proved it many days. Esau, modern Israel, strikes Iran. Listen to what they call the operation. Fair use, and of course, we're going to talk about this on the other side in a minute. Fair use. Netanyahu.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion.
Hold up, folks. This report came out last night. What?
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion.
Last night, Netanyahu reported that the strike on Iran was coined Operation Rising Lion? The Rising Lion? Mustafa? Lion King? I need y'all to think about this. So indirectly, what they're telling you is that they must do this war as a pretext to stop the awakening. Now, how? Stick with me. How? Because they can attack the rising lion through the smoke of warfare, where now control goes to the governments. Now that the world is under fear through war, they can indirectly attack the rising lion under the cloud of war. They did this in 70 AD. Christ told us about this. Right? Operation Rising Lion. I wonder who Netanyahu is talking about. Well, let's go to our father Jacob. On his deathbed, while we were citizens of citizens of Egypt, this was before Israel became a nation, our father Jacob called all of our fathers to his bedside and told us what would befall us in the last days. And Jacob called his sons and said, "Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days." Now, these prophecies are 100% connected to the bloodline, who? Of the lost tribes of Israel. What Jacob is giving his sons has nothing to do with what religion you follow. It doesn't matter what your persuasion is and all these others when it comes to what you believe religiously. That means even if an Israelite is a Muslim and is a practicing Muslim, it's Jacob's prophecies that will be on that particular person, regardless of what religion he's following. He will be suffering or what? Experiencing the prophecies that came through bloodline. So this has nothing to do with what you believe religiously. Get that out of your head. This is Jacob telling his people, regardless of what you're worshiping, what you believe, and or whether or not you even believe you are an Israelite. You may think you're not. You may think it doesn't matter. But Jacob is saying, listen, even if you don't believe it, this is what's going to happen to you. Okay? Going straight to the rising lion. Genesis 49, verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, speaking of Judah, the fourth son, whom Christ would come through here. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. What is Jacob telling his sons? You have walked away from your position as the forerunners and fighters. See? From the prey, thou art gone up. You've allowed predators to destroy the people, and Judah is sitting mute, silent, while what? The jungle, the people that he's ruling over are getting destroyed. From the prey, my son, thou art going up. Used to be the king of the jungle. Used to protect the innocent. You were the predators, not the prey. Don't forget, Jacob said, what shall befall us in the last days? Well, folks, that's why they did a switcheroo and programmed us under a matriarchy, so that the women can take front, knowing the prophecy of Judah rising. From the prey, my son, thou art going up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion. He's couched as a lion and as an old lion. Check this out, folks. As if Netanyahu read this directly out of Torah. Who shall rouse him up? Operation Rising Lion. So they're going to use this as a pretext under the cloud of war when this war eventually break out. And under the cloud of these wars, they'll be strategically attacking Judah. Okay? Throughout the earth. And who do they have a problem with? Look at it here. We're from the tribe of Judah. We're not black. We're not African Americans. I know politically, there have been a strategic way to actually separate the people who came over here in slave ships from those who are coming over here to undermine our power, who looks like us. So there's FBA titles that are put out there. But all in all, regardless of these different titles we've taken on politically, we are from Judah here. If you're from the killing fields of the South and made it through chattel slavery from Virginia, South Carolina, from the South, Louisiana, Tennessee, Oklahoma, you are Judah. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. That means the king. Nor a lawgiver between his feet until Shiloh come. Shiloh is Christ. And these people here have a problem with Christ. Why? Because it was prophesied that Christ would return to war against Rome. Christ never forgotten what they did to us in 70 AD. They went beyond what they should have done. Yeah, we sinned against our God, but Esau, our big brother, sought an opportunity to totally humiliate us before the world, separate our families, killing us, starving us out, babies dying in the street. All of this happened in 70 AD, and Christ never forgot it. And it's in the prophecies that he's coming back to war against Rome upon his arrival. And this is why they have a problem with the black Christ. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver between his feet until Shiloh comes. That's the returning of Christ. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. They know when Christ returns, he's uniting the 12 tribes of Israel. Well, until Christ returns, keep in mind, Judah have been the mouthpiece Christ have been speaking through. Prophetically, that's warning the elite that their time will soon end. See? So now they must deal with a military operation that will lead to them coming against the children of Israel. Now, some people might ask, well, why strike Iran? Well, all of the countries all of the nations who was once in line with Rome against Jacob must unite under the eagle to get rid of Jacob at the very end. And Iran is the last country that's resisting. See? Iran is resisting. And Esau is like, no, buddy, it don't work like that. We're in this together. Psalms 83, you Iranians benefited from the work of slaves too. And now you're not going to go into this war once and for all that will give power to those who have allowed you to benefit off of slaves too? No. Esau is telling Iran, you're coming into this war. Because with this war, we'll be able to blame America and under the guise of World War III, eradicate that voice that have exposed us being from the tribes of Judah. Are y'all following me here? So Iran is not going to back out because it says, even our Lord tell you in the prophecies, all of the nations are going to drink this cup. I'm going into it tomorrow, 11 a.m. All of them going to drink this cup. That means if you participated in the fall and degradation and destruction of God's people, you're not going to back out at the very end. You're going to have to raise your hand and say, I was responsible too. So you want to know what's going on? All the other nations know that the lion has awakened. You think you're the only people with YouTube? Huh? All the other nations in the elite, they have high sorcerers that works over their administrations. You know, they're talking. Listen, we can't control Judah. Judah's telling everyone now. Judah's not listening. They're not falling for the deceit like they used to. They have connected with their God. And you know what they're saying? They're nervous. All of them together saying, we're all in trouble. We're all in trouble. Right? So let's get to it because I have to talk to my people on Patreon. But let's hear the whole thing. The whole thing right through. It's only 2 minutes. Fair use. It came out last night. They struck Iran. And brothers and sisters, you are not to panic.
Targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very launched Operation Rising Lion. A targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion.
One moment.
A targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. We struck at the heart of...
Now, brothers and sisters, I'm going to bring out something key. It says it can be a year or it can be what? Less than a year. Folks, I've told people even before that so-called pandemic that we have to look at 2026 as a game changer that's leading into the serious tribulations to come. I told people, because you know what? We've been teaching the secrets of the times. Time and the dividing of times. Well, according to the time and dividing of times, if you look at the Coptic calendar, this is why they secretly have under the Illuminati the number 33 as the key number of emphasis and what? Degrees. They must fulfill everything to put the whole world under order by 2033. And I'm putting this out there because I'm the one who told people to keep your eyes on Iran when anyone was talking about this. If you want to know whether or not the Most High is working with this church here. There was no Israelites. There was no evangelicals. There was nobody in the earth talking about Iran prophetically, but this particular church. So if you want to know how it's going to go down, the Most High also gave us the calendar, the secrets of the times. That calendar that y'all get every year isn't a regular calendar. It's how God keeps time for the earth, leading to prophecy. That's why the Masons have 33 and 33 degrees. There's a timestamp on Satan and the Illuminati to have the whole world under their power by 2023. So if that's the case, 2026 to 2033 is 7 years. And I told people before the pandemic, keep your eye on 2026. And I knew why I was saying it, but I didn't put it out there at that time. The 7 years that's going to be total chaos in the earth starts in 2026. And he just told you it could be a year. It could be less than a year. Now you see why they're always looking at this channel, shadow banning this channel.
Of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America.
As you can see, I titled this before I transition over to Patreon. I'm going to take phone calls on Patreon. I've titled this what? I've titled this Esau. They're Edomites. Don't let them lie to you. Esau, who is modern Israel, strikes Iran. Now, we know they're Edomites. Ukrainians, all of them. They're Edomites. Now, of course, they changed their names, some of them, so to hide their true identity. What are we looking at? We're looking at Benjamin Netanyahu, his father, Benjamin Netanyahu. But I need y'all to look down here. See, this is Netanyahu's father. Now, do he look any different than any other Roman? Now check out his name before they changed their names. Netanyahu was born 1949 in Tel Aviv. His mother, Zila Siegel, was born in Petah Tikva in the Ottoman Empire of Jerusalem. And his father, Warsaw-born Benjamin Netanyahu, who his name wasn't Netanyahu, folks. His name originally was Milkowski. Milkowski, a Polish name. They switched their name. It's a Polish name. So these are Edomite Polish people who converted into Judaism that are over in Israel with a plan that was given them through the Roman Empire, through Rome. All this is being directed and controlled from the Vatican. And now America is expendable now. America is expendable. America have taken all the glory and shine from Rome. And you know why? Because Judah's here. We came over as slaves in America, and it's our people out of chattel slavery that dictates music, culture, and life throughout the earth. The whole earth mimic what we do, and Esau cannot stand it. How can these slaves dictate everything? Well, you know why. We've always been the roaring lion. It was just one piece missing. We had no idea that we were the lion spoken of prophetically by our father Jacob in Genesis 49. We had no idea that we impact everything because we're God's people. And Esau cannot stand it. He put us in slavery. He do all these things. He demonized us before the world as the worst people on the world. Cherry picking the negative from our community so that the world can think we're less than. But still, what people could have experienced and gone through what we've gone through, fight through every scenario that was against us, standing with our God and this Bible. And through chattel slavery, do what? Dictate the culture of the whole world. There's people in Poland right now, white boys growing up with do-rags on their head, seeking to mimic us from the hood. And they can't stand that. They can't take our spirit, and they cannot stop the influence. And now if the influence is coming from the throne into the earth, raising the lion, Understand what's going on here, folks. What we're talking about, our people being Israel, was always the missing piece. And now we're under the hedge of Christ. Those who would believe and be baptized and led through the Holy Spirit. Guess what? And they know that those under Christ cannot be touched by them. So what they were allowed to do in 70 AD will not happen to the elect. But our people who are under sin will be taken. Right? This just in, and then we are going to Patreon. Then we are going to Patreon. This just came in seconds ago. This have just come in seconds ago. Fair use.
Take a listen. It starts with the tone at the top, so continuing to have...
No, we can't add that. Let's read it real quick. Reuters, real-time news. Iran fires missiles at Israel in response to attacks. This just in. There were no immediate reports of deaths and or injuries. Israel said the strikes were the start of Operation Rising Sun. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah al-Khamenei, accused Israel of having started the strikes and initiating war. Right? Now, look at what it's saying here. Air defenses were activated from Tehran, and explosions could be heard in Isfahan. Israel's military said it was striking Iranian missiles and drone launching sites, and had struck another nuclear site in Isfahan. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, as we all know, Melkowski, okay, Prime Minister Benjamin Melkowski, aka Netanyahu, said that the Israeli campaign was aimed at defeating an existential threat from Iran, invoking the failure to halt the Holocaust and World War II. No one talks about what we have suffered as a pretext of defense for our people. But here we go again, pulling that out of the orifices. Israel's operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove the threat, he said in a TV address. Generations from now, history will record our generation stood its ground, acted in time, and secured our common future. Okay? Now it shows here, among the generals killed on Friday were Armed Forces Chief Staff Major General Mohammed Bagheri and the Revolutionary Guard's Chief Hussein Salami. Iranians describe an atmosphere of fear and anger, with some people rushing to change money and others seeking a way out of the country to safety. That's what's going on with Iran right now. Iran and Israel have declared a state of emergency. And guess what, folks? The same time, they knew they was going to do this, obviously, right? You don't make a strike in the midst of nowhere, folks. without the strategic timing, understanding where the people are in the earth right now geopolitically, namely the United States. Right now in the United States, under the ambiguity of immigration, Trump, under the ambiguity of illegal immigrants, has declared what? The National Guard to come into California under the guise of immigration. But is it that? Or is it that and more than that? Right? Now let me show you here. Here's a list of all the sanctuary cities under the immigration banner. Under the immigration banner, brothers and sisters, there's a number of sanctuary cities that now will follow suit with California, where there'll be more marches and all these others. All these others, folks, even though the people aren't participating in this, I'm gonna tell you, people aren't even participating in this stuff. They're going along with it anyway. So if there's even something staged or whatever the case is, Trump is going to declare like he did in California and bring in troops to these specific areas of the sanctuary cities, like I told you they would do when the Democrats were letting them in for 4 years. So that now troops, including foreign troops who have joined the military, can now what? Stake place in all these cities where Judah lives. See what's going on here? Here's a map. Here's a map of all the sanctuary cities where the millions upon millions of people were let into the United States during the last administration, where Biden's administration sets them up. And it's Trump's administration who knocks the pins down. See how it works? Bringing in the New World Order by destroying the infrastructure of the United States, where the people have no choice but to operate under the European system that was set up during the reset at the time of the pandemic, when they told everybody to go home. The new world has already been established. Okay? The only resistance is America. And now they're deploying all of their people to sanctuary areas. Look at this. Strategically, all of a sudden, it's coincidentally all the places where Judah is residing. Right? Look at it. California, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Oregon. These are all sanctuary cities where they flooded the zone under the guise of immigration, only to use the foreign people so that the Americans, so that our people who are born Americans wouldn't resist their next plan. They use people on the outside of the country as a pretext to pass laws for those who live in the country. See? You don't have to change laws in the country for citizens if it's about people who came in from other countries. Just send them back to their countries. See? But why are you changing laws? You're changing laws because the laws are going to affect Judah, because that's your target. Operation the Rising Lion. Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, Washington. Look at this. Cities and counties Atlanta, in Atlanta, Columbia County, DeKalb County, Douglas County, in Idaho, Power County, in Indiana, Lake County, Monroe County, St. Joseph County. So when Texas started sending all these immigrants into these other sanctuary cities and claiming that they're not coming over here in Texas, it was strategic. So that now the Republican administration can have plausible deniability while sending troops, even the foreign people who joined the army, into the sanctuary cities to come against God's people at a time of war. Look, on and on and on. These are all the places they disperse people into for 4 years straight. Millions upon millions of people flooding the zone, knowing that these foreigners would be one day used against who? The rising lion called Judah. And they're not, and guess what, folks? And they're not messing around either. You have the sheriff of Florida who said what? If they come protest in Florida, if you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will kill you. Listen, they're not parsing words here, folks. He quoted this on the news. You come here to Florida with these riots, we will kill you. Graveyard dead. Graveyard dead, he said. Folks, they're not playing. Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey warned protesters, brothers and sisters, do not go out to any of these protests. You'll be fine. We're going to direct you through the Spirit of the Almighty through the whole zone. You are not to fear what's going on. I need y'all to look at this. I need y'all to look at this real quick. Someone sent me this yesterday on Instagram. I think Elder Rawchaa sent me this. I watched the press ask some dude to stand on a car to take a picture at these so-called protests in California. Look. You see that? Stock footage. Let's look at it again. The so-called immigrant, who knows whether or not they're from another country, synagogue of Satan, with masks on, acting as if they're from Venezuela, standing on a car. Is this a protest? Fair use. And then, look, the press. I wonder where this guy's from. I wonder if he's from the United States, who took the picture of this so-called guy standing on a car as if he's a rioter. I wonder what country this guy's from, stirring the whole thing up. I watched the press, quote unquote, this is what it says, ask some dude to stand on a car to make a picture. Once more. Look, shake his hand. Now, what rioter you know doing this? Nero all over again. Brothers and sisters, like I told you, do not panic. Don't let nobody tell you to go over into the Middle East. I'm going to say this right now. There's brothers and sisters over there that was under the Ben Ami thing in Israel. They better get out of there. They better get out of there. You got people going online, linking with people that they know that follow this church and telling people to go to Jordan. You better not go there, and the people that's over there are going to be toast. I've warned you. That's all I have to say to you. You can go there if you want. Because the first people they're going to destroy under the fire, under the guise of military, is our people. They'll see those passports, and the government nowhere. Guess what? When you go into these areas, these Middle Eastern areas, you got to show your passport to get an apartment and or a house there. And they register your address, your passport with the police. So in the midst of a war, when something breaks out, they're coming directly to collect the black people in those areas. I'm telling you now how it's going to go down. The refuge is through the Holy Spirit, and that's why we have a church. You can be rogue all you want and think that you're going to be okay because the Most High is down with you too. You're going to be toast. And the person that led you into that mess, they're already pivoted. Because you notice they don't tell anyone where they are. So I'm going to put it out there. All right. Brothers and sisters, it's time to go to Patreon because there's another piece that I want to put out there, and especially for my sisters right now, because they strategically did an infighting, programming a war against what? Having the black man up against the black woman who's Judah as a strategic war against the lion, and the black woman against the black man. So that there'll be no one to protect the sisters when the war breaks out. And I'm going to tell you, they've programmed our sisters to a degree, they're running to their own demise, thinking that the people who've enslaved us is going to save them. No. What's going on right now? And you know what? The news isn't reporting this like they should. Our sisters are under attack. They're getting unalived by the other people. An East Indian met a sister online over there in California, over there in Nevada, 6 months ago, was a police officer. Met a sister in a hotel, raped her, dragged her into the woods and set her on fire, and the police investigated. This was a foreign East Indian who was able to become a cop and killed the sister. You don't hear anything about it. Now look at this. Sisters, it's time to humble yourself and come right back under the hedge. I'm going to tell you, it's open season on the daughters of Zion. And I'm telling you, they've taken the money from the women. They're going to switch things up. They're going to also make what? Paternity tests mandatory. They're taking all the jobs away so that the sisters would have no option but to sell their bodies out there. And then once you're out there, now that men are backed up and say, we're not protecting this, because we cannot protect anything we can't control. Protection comes as an exchange with submission. See? So they have propagated that. I look at that trash movie Tyler Perry put out there, showing our sisters out there in the worst way with no one to help them. We let these sodomites, people in the spirit of Sodom, control the narrative when you don't even know if these people are really down with family. Preying on the weakness of our sisters. And now it's news coming out like this almost every other week that's not getting reported. And it's going to ramp up. Folks, we're going to hear more of these stories, unfortunately, because the pendulum has proverbially swung the other way. The proverbial pendulum has swung. And they telling our sisters, hey, yeah, you need to go and deal with opening up your options. You hear these crazy people talking about that, as if our sisters have the same options as these other people. You better hold on to a good man if you have him. Fair use. And look at this demon, what he did to our sister.
In a gruesome murder mystery that's gripped the Milwaukee area for more than a week now. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jessa Brycebeck.
And I'm Amanda Porterfield. This morning, Maxwell Anderson was charged with murdering and dismembering 19-year-old Sade Robinson. The charges link two stories we've been covering for more than a week. The missing woman, Robinson, and body parts discovered in several locations throughout the city and county. Prosecutors now say at least two of those body parts are Sade Robinson's, and officers are looking for more of them.
We have team coverage for you tonight of this breaking news. CBS 50.
And here lies the danger of listening to these crazed witches online, talking about leveling up, talking about going with the other nations and all these others who are strangers, thinking that that's a better alternative, as if our sisters are going to be appreciated. And now, what's going on? It's the nut jobs online. Dropping into our young ladies' DMs, making them believe they'll be safe outside of the protection of their men.
Taj Mahal and Bryant McRae will have details on the investigation, but we start with Adam Reif live from Anderson's Southside home, breaking down the new information tonight.
Look at this. Look at this. This is what they're promoting online. This is what they're promoting. Here it is. The guy got the blonde hair. You know what I mean? He got the look, and you think that he's safe strictly because he's not a black man. And I'm not saying all other races of people would harm our sisters. But there's a common thread going on right now in the news where our sisters are getting unalive, meeting up in hotels and all that, and the news is sweeping all of this up under the rug. I mean, I would rather understand what's going on with this than to hear about some Sean Combs and Cassie, grown people who have all participated together under alleged ritual sin as consenting adults. Cassie's still living. Okay. I'm not excusing any of it because all of it is ritualistic sin. Go to our last Patreons that I talked about this. But I would rather hear about this, because this is where our sisters are getting picked off at, right here. And what do you think they're going to do when the war began? Going from city to city, knowing exactly where our sisters are based on the locations that they've divulged through their phones. Also through what? Through Instagram, through social media. They're going to know exactly where to go, and they're going to know that the majority of our sisters they're coming after are without protection. Because they choose to be without protection. See? So it's not going to be a time in which we're going to be, where it's going to be a thing where it's okay to be happily single. Those days are almost up. And even if you're single, that's okay. Be in proximity of a man who can protect you. All right, I'm going to Patreon. Patreon.com/AGathering144. We're going to open up the lines. We're going to talk about this. Esau, modern Israel strikes Iran, and let's have the conversation. Patreon.com/AGathering144. I'll see you on the other side. And of course, let me see. The Bible. Of course, let me see if I have it here. One second. Of course, let me see. Right here. Boom. Right here. So, of course, let's see if I have it here. 1 second. So what I'm going to do in advance is to make sure the chat is ready for Patreon. So let's have the discussion. Do not panic. We're going to go into this lesson concerning Iran and Edomites over there striking Iran under the guise of being Israel tomorrow, and let everyone understand tomorrow Babylon. I'm going to title this Babylon is falling. Babylon is falling will be the title. 11 a.m. Be there if you're not on Patreon. Let's have a discussion. I'm going to be on Patreon for about an hour. Yes, we're in it. With that, I'll see you on Patreon, and I'll take a few phone calls. We'll open up Zoom and commence this conversation on the other side with our loyal Patreon participants. Patreon.com/AGathering144. Let's talk. With that, may the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up. Sin not until I see you tomorrow for those who are not on Patreon. Keep in mind the Most High is calling back Israel. We are the children of Israel, and yes, we are back. Stay safe. Oh, I forgot to announce real quick that, yeah, we will be going into the promised seed. Okay? The promised seed this coming Sunday, with the topic leading from Rome, Babylon to America. How the true doctrine of how to persevere through all of this was given to us through Christ and the disciples in the promised seed. And I'm going to also go into Christian theology. Where are the lies they've taught us coming out of slavery concerning Christian theology? I'm going there this coming Sunday. Okay? The Bible is true. The doctrine of the Jesuits that have deceived our people while we slept and were asleep during chattel slavery, that's the lie. Shalom. See you all on Patreon.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, the highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us to gather our wives and children and sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. Asher in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, a highest gathering Israel. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians,